Wednesday, September 21st, and welcome to an all-new episode of Style by Stevie. Our very special guest today is a model, and she is already blowing up in the fashion scene. I'm super excited to have her here. We're going to recap all things New York Fashion Week in this Girl Talk today and find out what she's been up to. Joining me today, ladies and gentlemen, we have the beautiful Sydney Webb. And tomorrow joining me, we have actor Brendan Harvey. So make sure you guys tune in for that tomorrow. I'm super excited about today's show. We're going to talk all things fashion. Now, you guys know that it's London Milan Fashion Week, and I'm super excited. I've already started posting some of the looks, and in case you guys missed it, you can check that out right here on my feed. All right, so without further ado, let me go ahead and share this with Sydney so that we can dive right into this convo. Fashion dolls, I'm super excited. And I'm having to kind of do things with one hand. Please forgive me, y'all. Oh my goodness. And I hope you guys are loving the fashion. The fall fashion for this week has been everything. I've been trying to change it up. So I hope you guys love it. So without further ado, let's welcome our very special guest, the beautiful, the talented supermodel, Miss Sydney Webb. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome back. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. It is such a pleasure to have you back here in the dollhouse.
I'm so happy to be back.
Yes. So what have you been up to? Because the last interview we did was not too long ago. We did it back in 2021, not too long ago, if I'm not mistaken. So what have you been up to? Because I know it's been hectic. New York Fashion Week just wrapped. Now we're going into Milan, London Fashion Week, and I've already started posting some looks which we'll talk about throughout this interview. So how has it been for you thus far? Because girl, you have been giving us these photo shoots back to back to back to back to back.
Thank you. It's been amazing for me recently. I just got to work with Aaron Michael from the latest season of Project Runway. He's an absolute sweetheart and a joy to work with. And I just got to do my first underwater shoot. It was such a nerve-wracking experience, but I am so happy that I got to do it.
And we've seen some shoots of you out there like in the desert, and it was breathtaking. It was beautiful. So tell us about that experience.
So going out to the desert, that's pretty normal for me, in Las Vegas. But, recently I got to do photo shoots with flying dresses. That was amazing. It's a lot of work because these dresses are heavy. It's a lot heavier than you would actually think. And, there's so much fabric. I got tangled like twice. It was not fun. I'm glad the photographer didn't get pictures of that because I know I looked crazy. Crazy.
What did Dad have to say about the photo shoot? Because I know the last time you were here, you told us that he wanted the opportunity to pour water. So
Dad got the opportunity to throw the dresses, so he was happy about that too.
yes, and she's not lying. Those gowns are heavy. So
yeah, the gowns are heavy, but they're beautiful. It's always worth it in the end when you get to see the pictures and it's like, wow, these are just breathtaking. But I know I was not having fun lugging those dresses around.
oh my goodness. And speaking of gowns, let's dive right into it. Because I sent you some things from New York Fashion Week. So have you been? What was your experience like? Because I'm pretty sure you got the opportunity to go and
I did not.
Oh my love.
At New York Fashion Week. No, I was here in Vegas. I think my invitation got lost in the mail. The mail hasn't been trustworthy lately. That's what happened. That's definitely what happened.
You have to go. That is a must. And I so could see you walking in Fashion Week. But no worries here, Fashion Dolls. We got you covered. Me and Sydney are going to go and we'll bring a review of our favorite collection. Review a few designers that have been in Fashion Week for New York. The first one is Carolina Herrera, and I sent you the designs.
Yeah.
Um, I think this is so you. I could so see you walking in one of her shows because the gowns are so elegant. They're so breathtaking. And she incorporated just beautiful pastel colors. Now, we think for the fall months, as you guys can see, we're both wearing dark colors. A lot of designers are doing the opposite of it. And they're going in a direction where it's like, okay, let's get lighter colors. So, another designer that I like, I'm gonna let Sydney give her thoughts on this. Another designer that I liked also as well too that incorporated a lot of bright colors into his collection was Sergio Hudson, and he did
Yeah.
such an effortless job with the entire collection. He incorporated animal print. He incorporated neon colors. So, what are your thoughts on Carolina Herrera?
I loved Carolina Herrera's outfits. I think they were just so gorgeous because they were simplistic in a way that was just so beautiful, where it's not overly simple, but it's not overdone, which I really love and appreciate. And oh, I can't remember which gown it was, but I saw it and I'm like, okay, how can I get that into my closet like yesterday? Because I need that now. But her stuff was simplistic in such a gorgeous way. The colors were fantastic. And I loved how many darker models were walking for her collection. That made me very happy, of course. So that's my thoughts on it. What were yours?
I love what you just said, which is for women of color. And I texted one of my guy friends because I've been showing him my outfits of the week. And it's boys and men who really have the hard time with fashion. So we try to help them out, girls, for those who know.
Yes.
I texted my guy friend one of my outfits from the previous weeks before, and it was this one shoulder color block number. And he says I showed him a picture of it on the original model, and then I showed it to him on me, and he says it looks better way on you, your skin tone. It's something about our melanin, our skin tone. When we put on
Yeah.
colors, women of color, we pop when we put it on. And I think the prime example of someone who can get away with wearing so many colors would have to be Lupita. Because she's done it all on the red carpet. And we've seen her wear green, we've seen her wear blue, and she does it so effortlessly. So Sydney's not lying when we talk about, us girls of color, us girls who are melanated, being able to wear bright colors. It really
Yeah.
pops on our skin tone. And another person who can do it so well, you remind me so much of her, Sydney, Zendaya.
Yeah.
Zendaya wore a piece that was a vintage staple from Loewe, I think that's the name of the designer, Loewe. And La Roche, shout outs to him, who is her stylist, made it look effortless. It's like the magic between these two. Whenever they get together and they put these looks together, it is everything. So,
I
yes.
love everything that Zendaya wears because, like you said, everything that La Roche does with her outfits that she wears is just stunning. And I love the memes where it's like it shows the pieces on the model and it's like, oh, I really don't like this outfit. Then they put it on like someone like Zendaya and they're like, oh, wait, never mind. I really like this.
Yes,
You got to get the melanin. You got to get some melanin in the outfit.
we make the outfits pop. We make them come to life and we bring so much to it. Now, the next designer, speaking of popping, because this designer definitely brought out a lot of bright colors, I would have to say Christopher John Rogers absolutely understood the assignment. It was beautiful, it was elegant. And again, a lot of designers are doing the complete opposite for Fashion Week. They're doing bright colors. We would think in the fall season, we would see the colors like me and Sydney are wearing, which are your blacks, your navies, your plum colors. I was definitely going to go for them, your camel colors. But this designer right here gave us everything that we wanted and needed. And Christopher John Rogers understood the assignment. He gave us a little bit of faux fur, the jackets, the detailing, stripes, and he mixed both of them, color block, that color block. Um, Refer to some of my photos because I did like a little lookbook of fall fashions that I've been doing throughout the week on this show. And giving people a little bit of info of what they can expect. And people loved it. The responses were great. And what you know and love, the design is incorporated into their collections. So, Christopher John Rogers, what were your thoughts?
I loved it because, like you said, a lot of people, during the fall months, we migrate towards darker colors. But I think that the fact that he brought in bright colors instead and kind of switched up our way of thinking, that was absolutely incredible because, one of the shows that I like to pull from the 90s is The Nanny, be the lady in red when everybody else is wearing tan. That is exactly what he did with this collection, and I love it. So I'm definitely going to be pulling my neons back out from the closet and wearing those now. He has truly inspired me to wear more neons now.
Yes, and a lot of designers like Roberto Cavalli just had his show today for Milan London Fashion Week, and it was absolutely beautiful. He brought in animal print, and we know Roberto Cavalli for doing that, but he took it up a notch. He added animal print and neons together. Who would have thought that that would have been a great combination? But he did it, and it worked. So now the next designer is something that is similar to what I'm wearing today, your classic black elegant dress. But he incorporated some things as well too in his collection, and that is Christian Seriano.
Yes.
Pure elegance. Pure elegance.
I absolutely love Christian Seriano and his collections. I was like, why wasn't I on the runway for this? Because you could just tell in the faces of the models that they were enjoying themselves. And I just loved that because they loved what they were wearing. I loved the body inclusivity that he had because he had some bigger models on the runway that made me so happy. And his pieces, they're never the same. They're never normal. He plays with so many different shapes, textures. That's why I just love Christian Seriano. So seeing his new collection, I'm like, yes, you never
And
miss.
and the gloves, like the gloves I'm wearing today, he
Yes.
incorporated those into the gowns as well too. So this is a set. This is not Christian Seriano, but it's similar to Christian Seriano, and we try to do things that are like based off of the runway here. It's just the elegance, the models walking down the staircase and just sitting there in thought is absolutely beautiful. And as Sydney mentioned, the body inclusivity, the cold shoulder, the details. I love the
Yes.
thrills. So if you are not sure what we're talking about, here's a photo so you guys can
Oh,
get the reference.
oh,
Absolutely breathtaking.
and then, just a small thing that I noticed as a model with the Christian Seriano show, there was a second set of stairs that they had to go down. And I liked that they were allowed to hold on to the railing to get down the stairs because I have encountered some designers that are like, don't touch the railing, and then you almost fall down the stairs. So I like that they were allowed to hold on to the rails that they needed to get down. That just made my heart so happy.
And Christian Seriano always takes his shows to the next level. And you will not believe who was in the audience. She's one of my favorite singers. Janet Jackson was in the audience of this show. And yeah, she graced her presence. She was sitting there watching the gowns go down the collection and the models go up the stairs. It was so elegant. And I've seen footage of this show. So Christian Seriano did an absolute stellar job. Now, last but certainly not least, the last designer that we're going to talk about is, we just mentioned him, Sergio Hudson did an amazing job with this collection. I got a little bit of 80s, I got a little bit of 70s. It tied in beautifully, and he understood the assignment. Now, if you guys have seen Sherry Shepherd's new talk show, he showcased the collection. Winnie Harlow and the neon green color was everything that I needed. That was everything that I needed. So, what are your thoughts on Sergio Hudson's collection?
Ah, Sergio Hudson. What's there not to say about his collection? I'm truly like I don't know what to say. It's just so amazing. Um, really, oh, that tells you how amazing something is when you have literally no words to say. I like that designers are, diving more into old fashions from the past, like you said, the 70s and 80s.
Yes.
That's wonderful because, a lot of people nowadays, especially with my generation, that's what we're trying to bring back. The Y2K fashion, the 90s, 80s, 70s. We want that back. So to see that there's a designer who's like, okay, I hear you. I shall do exactly what you want. Let's bring back these fashions. That's just amazing.
And he did just that. I've been seeing a lot of like flared out pants. The bell bottoms that were in the 70s are now coming back. So when it comes to fashion, the designer said, you know what, I'm going to take history back. History repeats itself when it comes to fashion. So I've been watching a lot of I've been looking through a lot of fashion magazines from like the 80s and the 90s and seeing comparison to the fashions that we have now currently in 2022. And it's a completely similar thing. So a lot of designers have took a page back from the 80s and the 90s. And as you mentioned, Y2K, denim was a thing. I've seen that. So we're going to see what else is in store. So, what can you predict is going to be in store for Milan London Fashion Week for 2020 for this season?
For London Fashion Week, that one, ooh, because London and all those places, they're always so ahead of fashion.
Ahead of
We
the
in
trend.
the States, we follow behind, 10 years later. So to see what they have, I feel like they're going to play more with shapes, things like either super defined waists and, plunging necklines, or possibly even taking away shape and doing things maybe that are more oversized and take less emphasis on curves and more emphasis on the fashion, the face. That could be something that I would like to see from London, and maybe even something that's more gender inclusive and something that could switch. It's not masculine or feminine. Anyone
Yeah.
could wear it. That's something I would love to see from anyone in the fashion industry. That's what I want.
And not only that, but you've mentioned the cinched in waists. One designer who I can think that knows how to corset and make our bodies look absolutely amazing. And God rest his soul would have to be the late Terry Mugler. Terry Mugler was on point, ahead of the trend, and I went back and watched Iman walk in and Naomi walk in some of his shows. And these fashions are now coming back full circle. And you have the celebrities that are going now to the archives. Like a lot of celebrities are going into the archives and tapping into these designers and getting them to, okay, let me wear this gown for this event. So it's okay to pull from the archives, trust me, because these looks definitely repeat themselves. History repeats itself when it comes to
Yeah.
fashion. So that's why I can predict. And I love that you said gender inclusive fashion because we're seeing designers like Loewe. Um, I cannot remember his name right off the bat. I cannot remember his name. It starts. It's not Marcella. Yeah, Margiela. Maison Margiela understood the assignment when it comes to gender innovative fashion, and he made it so effortless with the hats and just the over the top couture. And you guys know that I am a couture fanatic. So, hi, Devon. How are you? Welcome. We're here talking about New York Fashion Week, catching up with supermodel Sydney Webb, and finding out what is going to be on trend for London Fashion Week, Milan Fashion Week, which has already begun. We've wrapped up New York Fashion Week, and now we're talking about designers that have had their shows today. Fendi had their show, if I'm not mistaken, yesterday. Cameron Rowland had their show, and today Roberto Cavalli had their show. So you guys can check out some of the new fashions that I posted here on my feed. But that's just a prediction and forecast for what's to come for the next year of 2023 fashion. So, what are you predicting is going to be on trend for Miss Cindy Webb for 2023? What is going to be on trend for you? Because you're very eclectic. We talked about this the last time you were here, and I said you love to switch it up. You give us something. There's a shock factor, like I mentioned in the beginning of the interview. The desert photo shoot that you did, which was absolutely stunning. So, what can we predict from you in the future for 2023?
For me in the future, like I said, I talked about more gender inclusivity, so I'm going to go for a few more gender neutral looks in my wardrobe and try to take pictures in that and push that forward in the fashion industry. That's part of my agenda. And I'll be wearing more things like corsets, more mesh fabrics, playing with shapes, textures, like we've been seeing from the designers lately, mixing more patterns together. That's what you can see from me that I know of right now next year. What should we be seeing from you? That's what I want to know.
I always love to look back in time. I have a stack, and I'm looking at them right now on my bed. I have a stack of fashion magazines. So I like to go through. If you guys follow my stories, you know there's a lot of vintage nostalgia in there. And I put vintage nostalgia on my feed as well too. So I'm like, okay, let me try this or let me try this. So I'm always reinventing myself. Like I do not like to stay the same. I love to change it up. And for 2023, I predict for me maybe some suits because throughout the summer months, it's been a lot of gowns and dresses. So maybe some jumpsuits, maybe some suits in the future. Who knows? Maybe some denim, some jeans. My mom said, I would love to see you in a pair of jeans. I said, it's been too hot for that. So I try to put on, dress sundresses, dress comfortably for the occasion
Mm-hmm.
because I do not want to be in a position where I'm extremely hot. I prefer to be comfortable. And right now, I'm comfortable. So the gowns and dresses it is. But what you probably could see me in the menswear in the future, tailored menswear, maybe some let's see, suspenders. Who knows? I
Ooh.
love to go back in time. I love to go back in time when it comes to men's fashion and put a feminine touch onto it. And I think the prime example of someone, the epitome of someone who does it very, very well, and she did it so classy and ladylike, I would have to say is Coco Chanel. Hands down, Coco Chanel. And she added her own touch. The pearls were her detailing. Another designer that I could say that does it well would be Vivienne Westwood. She does the perfect mix of menswear and she gives it with a feminine touch. So I would have to say those two. You've mentioned corsets. Like, yes, I've seen a lot of designers incorporate corsets. My mom is terrified of them. I tried to get her a jumpsuit that had like a corset on the front of it. It was fabulous. And she was just like, no, but I understand because she wants to feel comfortable. When it comes to fashion, it's all about comfort, what works for you. But there are times when you want to step out of your norm and do things that you've never really done. So for me, jeans, I haven't really done jeans in a while or denim in a while, but you could probably expect that in 2023 for maybe season 17 of Style by Stevie as we get into menswear. Because I love another one of my examples would have to be Catherine Hepburn. She's iconic, she's classic, and she did it
Yeah.
so effortless. And Taylor, men's suits. Yes, Victoria Beckham is another example too. Rihanna does it very, very well. Zendaya does it. So I mean, it's so many women who can get away with wearing menswear and they make it look effortless. Janet Jackson even did it, but she added a skirt to it. I thought it was a suit, but the pants look almost like trousers. I said, wait, what is Janet got on? But she nailed the entire look. And this was at Christian Seriano's show. So I said, oh my God, I have to get that picture. So shout outs to her team because they always get her right. So that's what
Yeah.
you guys can expect.
I love it and I cannot wait to see it. You're going to look so good.
Yes, everybody's been loving the new looks lately. I'm glad you guys have been loving the new looks and the change. And I said I'm gonna do something different for the fall season because for the summer months I have been just showing skin, 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 skin. And I like now today I'm still showing skin, but it's very, how can I say it, very relaxed, very classy. Um,
Yes.
Yes, the fall, winter months, you can expect some faux fur, you can expect some suits, maybe some athleisure, because I've been looking into athleisure as well too. So a lot of designers have been doing that. When it comes to fashion, it's all about comfort and what works for you. And what worked for me or what might work for Sydney might not be for the next person. Do what works for you, but dress it up. And I've gotten my mom into the habit now of wearing accessories. Because before she would be like, okay, what goes with this and what goes with this? But me, I try to be simplistic as possible. So I was reading Victoria Beckham's book on that extra half inch, and she says you don't have to wear jewelry with every single thing. So just keep it elegant, just keep it simple to the T. And today is very simple. It's not a whole lot. I was going to add bangles to the top of these gloves, but I said, you know what? That's very much Grace Jones like. The gloves already speak for themselves, but we know that Grace Jones, when it comes to fashion, she would just go over and beyond. But yeah,
Yes.
I might get back into that, but not right now. I like modern, simplistic, elegant, and classy.
I like it. I like it.
So, any fashion trends that you guys are predicting for 2023, drop them in the comments. Do you have any questions for myself or Sydney here? Because she has been giving us these photo shoots back to back to back to back to back lately. If you guys have not seen the photo shoots that she's been giving, please go and check them out. From the desert shoot to the pool shoot, she has been giving us back to back to back to back to back photo shoots. So you got definitely need to go and check that out. And there's some new feed up, so definitely go and check that out also as well to London Milan Fashion Week. Roberto Cavalli just had his show here on live on IG. So you guys can go and check out the looks. They have dropped, they are out, and so many others. Nature Flying says she is the queen with those photos.
Aw, thank you.
How does that make you feel to know that people are watching your work, they're loving your craft? In the last interview, you got the surprise of your life. One of my favorite supermodels popped up. One of my new favorite supermodels, Miss Sydney Webb. Cara Young. Cara Young is watching your work. How does that make you feel? This is the woman who's walked alongside Cindy Crawford, Naomi Campbell, Tyra Banks, just to name a few, and Veronica Webb.
That makes me ecstatic, and it makes me want to work harder to show, what I can do, because with these connections, they don't know. You don't know what they're watching you for, what the reason is. They could just be watching you because, oh, I like your stuff. But it could be, oh, I know this designer that needs models. Let me watch you so I can see if you're right for this designer so I can introduce you to. So I've been trying to push myself harder and get out more content and, better content, more things. Like I said, did my underwater shoot recently. I did that shoot out in the desert with the flying dresses. So I'm trying to get bigger and better things so I can show it to these people and be like, hey, introduce me to all your designer friends so I can go up for them too.
Yes, and it's happening. And you know, I'm here to help. I'm going to connect you with everyone that has helped me in this fashion industry. So you know, I'm here to help.
Of
And
course.
Nature Flying says, I don't really do fashion, but I respect it. I love that people can come up with so many ideas with just their creativity. And it's the most inanimate things in nature. And just sitting around looking at something, a mirror, it can be anything. Fashion designers will pull for inspiration from anywhere. And what's so beautiful to me is that they go and they take this inspiration and they post it. They will show it to you, and they're just like, okay, something is coming, and I kind of get the gist of it. I catch on to it, and it's just like, okay, where are you going with this? Like for Balmain's collection for 2020, it was very much 80s like, and it gave me just a flashback of nostalgia for Mugler's 88 collection where Iman and all the models walked, and it was like a Sahara desert type thing. It was beautiful, and all of these trivial African themes. It was gorgeous the way it was with the prints and detailing and everything, effortlessly executed. So, yeah, you never know where designers can pull inspiration from. Just like Diane von Furstenberg, Carolina Herrera. You never know where that inspiration could come from. Christian Seriano, I can tell. I was feeling a little bit of Princess Grace with this collection right here, this particular one, and a little bit of Marilyn Monroe because of the elegance, the gist of it, the structured silhouettes, and as you've mentioned, the inclusivity of the body positivity, which is what I love. I love seeing models of different shapes and sizes walk down the runway with different prints and textiles, textures, fabrics of design. Is so immaculate. So
Yeah.
do we have any questions, Fashion Dolls, myself or Miss Sydney here, before we conclude? Because we were talking about New York Fashion Week and so many other things. And I'm glad that you guys are enjoying the conversation here because so much has happened since she's last been here. She's been giving us all of these effortless photo shoots back to back to back. And I see so much more coming. I'm predicting it right now. And I said this the last time Sydney was here, I said she's going to take over the fashion world. People went crazy over Gigi. People went crazy over Winnie, and now they're going to go crazy over Sydney. So I just can see it because people told me when I got into this thing doing this talk show, they were saying, "Oh, you're going to blow up. You're going to make it big. This platform is going to take off," and it has, and I'm thankful for it. We're not on national TV yet. We're aiming for that, and I would love to manifesting it, but so much is coming, and I can see it in the horizon. You just keep pushing and networking with the great people. And I'm going to keep connecting you with people that have helped me. So shout outs to Bobo, shout outs to Cara, shout outs to so many amazing people in the fashion industry who have just taken credit and flocked on over to this page and love some of the work and like some of the posts. I appreciate it 100%. So welcome if you're just coming in, Fashion Dolls. I see you, Fraternal. Thank you, Afro. Beautiful. I'm glad you guys both love it. So, if we don't have any questions, Fashion Dolls, I think we're going to conclude here with our girl, Sydney. So, I'm going to let her conclude it. What advice do you want to give to young girls that are looking to get into modeling? Because I know it's all about being in this fashion industry for me, because I understand the aspect front and back up. Being in this industry, what advice would you give to young girls who want to get out here and model and have experience, because you told me your story here the last time we did about, the hair thing and how they want your hair to move and things. What advice would you give to young women who are looking to get into this industry?
I say, don't put yourself into a box. Like I said last time, I talked about how I've been kind of put into a box because of my hair that will be taken care of soon. But don't put yourself into a box. Don't stick to one look. Do as much work as you can. Have a good support system with you, whether that's friends, family, strangers on the internet, whatever works. Have a good support system. And don't try to be the next someone. Don't try to be the next Gigi or the next Winnie, the next Tyra. Don't try to be the next someone. Be the first you. So whether that means that you don't want to just do modeling, maybe you want to do acting, maybe you want to do cooking videos, maybe you want to do something else, you want to write a book, do it. You don't have to just be a model. Look at all these wonderful women within the industry, and you see them, they're off doing movies, they're off doing, they're doing interviews and talking and giving their own advice to people. So don't just stick to one thing, do a ton of things, and if, some things don't work, it just doesn't work. But do what feels right to you. If it feels right to someone else, but it doesn't feel right to you, then it doesn't matter because it doesn't feel right to you. But if it feels right to you and not to someone else, who cares? Who cares about their opinion? It's their opinion. They don't have to share it. It doesn't always apply. Do what you want to do and what feels right to you. You are your own person. So that is my advice to everyone who may want to start modeling here in the future.
And it's all about confidence as well too.
Yes.
If you're not confident in getting out there and walking in front of a bunch of people. It's nerve wracking at times. I've actors have even walked the runway, and it's so funny because it's just like I don't want to fall. I don't want to fall. It's all a mind thing. You have to say I'm not going to fall. You have to walk out there with confidence. Walking, because Tyra Banks, she has this motto that says, you know what, I'm going to rip every hallway like it's a runway. And when I go out, I do the same thing when I go out. People are like, she's walking like it's a fashion show. Um, it's about confidence. You walk out and you make it your own and you command that room. You get those people's attention on that one. So if you're not comfortable with going out there, think about it, reconsider it, think about it, and say, okay, this is something that I really, really want to do. It's about confidence and it's about perseverance. And there have been models who have failed at New York Fashion Week. And the key trick is you got to keep going. Never let them see you fall. I've seen one model, she took a tumble down, she fell, and she fell hard. She fell twice. She got up and she kept walking. I said, oh, excellent, beautiful. And then she fell again, and she got up and she walked barefoot at the end of the show. So she just said, hey, I don't care about these shoes. I'm going to walk out. People remember her as the model who fell, but she came out with such confidence like, hey, this is not going to break me. This is just the beginning. Watch how many other shows can I go.
Exactly. And I remember seeing a fashion show, I'm not sure exactly which one, but the model fell and she just started voguing her way through it. And she just acted like that was exactly what was supposed to happen. She just started voguing her way, got back up, continued with the show as normal. That's what you got to
Yeah,
do. And then I've
it's
seen shows where, models trip and stumble, and the rest of the models go through and they do the exact same thing so that the pressure is relieved from that one model. And I just love that sisterhood. That's amazing when they do that. And they're like, okay, you fell, I'm going to fall too. Okay, you're pretending to fall, I'm going to pretend to fall too. That's just amazing.
yes, and they help them up, whereas most models would just keep going and keep going. We got to keep straight because most designers want that. They want you to keep going. But I've seen some of the greats fall. Naomi Campbell, Kate Moss, they've all taken falls on the runway. Even Linda Evangelista, they've all taken falls on the runway and tumbles on the runway. And I remember Gigi Hadid, her shoe fell off in the show, and she kept walking. She did this like with the arch of her foot. She arched her foot like she was wearing a high heel, and she walked throughout that entire show. Nobody could tell. She made it look effortless. And I said, I don't know who in the world. My jaw dropped, literally. Like, how did she do this? Her shoe just fell off, and it looks like she's wearing a shoe, and she's not.
Exactly.
Incredible.
And then it's like who backstage gave her shoes that would fall off her feet? Because, with things like that, the model perseveres. It makes you think, who backstage gave these models, because even if it wasn't, a big name model, who in their right mind gave a model shoes where they're not going to fit and they have the chance of falling off while they are on the runway?
Yes.
Because that's what I think of. Who in their right mind did that? Who did
And the
that?
shoes would be a tad bit too small. They would be a tad bit too big. That happens. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because with shoes, being too small and too big, that's a normal occurrence. But if they're so big that they fall off, there's, a half a size too big, but then there's big enough to fall off.
Yes.
That's completely different. And that's just what, messes with my mind. I'm like, huh? What? Excuse me?
And it throws people off. Well, Fashion Dolls, we are now at the end of this discussion. We talked all things New York Fashion Week. I know, and we're going to have you back into the new year. Sydney is going to be back, so we're going to set something up, definitely, so that we can see what you've been up to. We will give you a minute to get us these amazing shoots that she's been giving us, and let everyone know where they can follow you and check out this beautiful masterpiece of photography that you did.
All right, so you can follow me anywhere under the same username, Webb Sydney 14. I like to keep it easy. easier to remember if it's just the same username all throughout. Please follow me, support my work. I'm trying to give out plenty of good looks for you to enjoy. And yeah, because I wanna impress the dollhouse. That's what I want to do. That's my goal in life.
And you definitely have. We are definitely proud of you. So keep giving us this amazing photography and work that you've been giving us. And it was a pleasure having you here. It was totally refreshing to talk about New York Fashion Week because I've always sort of wanted to do a brief recap of it. It was great.
Yes, and it was amazing to be back. I always enjoy being on the dollhouse, so thank you so much.
Anytime, and we definitely got to set something back up in the future. It was supposed to be three of us here, but Trevor couldn't be here, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to work that out where it's going to be all three of us, Trevor, Sydney, and myself, and we're going to discuss what is next and up and coming for fashion. So you guys stay tuned for that. Without further ado, thank you all for tuning in to this exclusive catch up with our fave supermodel, Sydney Webb. And joining us tomorrow, we have actor Brendan Harvey is going to be here. So make sure you guys tune in tomorrow at 4 p.m. And check out the lineup for this week we got coming up. We love you all, and you guys, please be safe. And more importantly, be stylish and fab doing it. Take care, everyone.